Okay, picking up where we left off on page 542, we're talking about business continuity. Most specifically, the business continuity plan. And this is not exactly the same thing as a disaster recovery plan, but it's along the same lines. Disaster recovery plan is typically what the IT department does on their own. You know, we have a cold site over here, or a hot site, or we've got some spare servers over here, and if we lost this entire center, we could switch over to some other location, that kind of stuff. Business continuity goes a little bit further. It talks about, you know, how we're going to handle the phone calls coming in with customers, and you know, are we gonna offer them discounts, and you know, those kind of things where you have to have some way of continuing doing your business. You know, the IT people are talking about continuity of the data and all that, where somebody needs to have a little bigger picture and talk about the continuity of doing business. You know, things like, okay, the cash registers went down at Walmart. Do I just send everybody home, or do I hand them calculators and we take things with cash? You know, business continuity plan. Okay. On page 543, they talk about how to determine when a system becomes obsolete, essentially. You know, the maintenance history indicates that these adaptive and corrective maintenances are increasing. That makes sense. Operational costs or execution times are increasing rapidly. Software packages that availability, or perhaps, you know, your vendor is gone. You know, you hitched your buggy to some vendor and he took you down this far and poof, he's gone. And so there's no more patches, there's no more security updates, and quite frankly, you had no choice but to jump ship. And of course, it could be just new technologies that come out that you say, you know, there's nothing really wrong with what we got, but it sure would be a lot better if we had this other technology. And then, of course, maintenance becomes a little bit more difficult, a little bit more expensive. And then users start requesting so many changes that it becomes obvious that it might be a good place to stop and start over again. So those are the kind of the clues you would use to determine that, yeah, okay, our system has reached the end of its life. We need to start planning on a new system. There's a cool little thing on page 544 from Gartner. And Gartner does an awful lot of predictive things. And there's one in here that's just kind of weird. I'm not even sure exactly what it means. They talk about, you know, the financial impact of cybercrime will grow. Yeah, I believe that. Mobile application development using smartphones will continue to outnumber PCs. Yeah. The price for most cloud service will include a global energy surcharge. I have no idea what the hell that means. 1 out of every 2 email users will be primarily using a browser or portable device. Half of companies will make proof of independent security testing a precondition. In other words, you can't do business with me unless you can prove to me that you can keep your credit cards safe. You know, right now there is no law in the U.S. talking about the procedures you should use to secure credit card numbers. You'd think there would be. They have them in other countries, but they don't have them in the U.S. And then talk about, this is one of the ones that I don't really understand. They talk about 20% of the Asia-sourced hardware consumed in the U.S. will shift to the Americas. I assume they're talking about manufacturing. Okay. On page 545, they basically talk about this future challenges and opportunities for IT folks. There's a cool little chart there that talks about globalization. Yes, globalization is here, and whenever you're putting a system together, you need to account for different languages and different currencies, different time zones, all those kinds of things. There's lots of cultural changes that have to make things work. Technology integration, yeah, more and more and more. More gadgets. You know, if you have a bring your own device policy, then you can pretty much well guarantee that every 6 months somebody's going to bring something in that you're going to go, oh wow, we didn't think about that. So yeah, cloud computing, of course. Everyone talks about cloud computing. And then of course the workplace. And we're talking about, you know, telecommuting and virtual presence and all those kinds of things where, yes, technology trends are getting to the point where We're not going to have that many opportunities to send people off to meetings. We're going to have, virtual meetings instead. We're not quite to the point of having a robotic presence where I can stay in my pajamas and send a little robot off to my office. We're not quite there yet, but you can imagine somebody's working on it. On page 546, they talk about the certification and training kind of things that you can get as an IT professional. And CompTIA and Microsoft and Novell and Cisco, those people have well established and familiar. Most people have heard of A+ certification, and they've heard of Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer. They've heard these terms, and they do mean something. When I was doing recruiting for people, if I had two candidates, one had had 5 years experience. This person had 5 years experience. This one has Microsoft Certified Solution Developer and Solution Architect. Like, okay, this is a person who actually knows how to see the big picture. I would probably hire the one with the certification, all of the things being true. These certifications they're not terribly expensive like the Microsoft ones. The test costs a little over $100 a piece, and you need, depending on what you're getting, you could need 5 or 6 of them. You could probably spend about $1,000 getting one of these certifications, but it's in my opinion, it's well worth it. Critical thinking skills. This is kind of funny because I'm a professor here at the university, and I will tell you that I am sometimes absolutely stunned at people who just flat can't think. It's amazing. So yes, critical thinking skills are fantastic, and in an interview process, I can usually pick that out real quick if whether or not you know how to think. On page 548, they talk about the chapter summary. Yay! We're at the end of the last chapter. So let's go through this rather quickly and make sure we didn't miss anything. So, system support and security covers the entire period of time from the implementation till the system is no longer used. Corrective, adaptive, perfective, and preventive are the types of systems maintenance. Maintenance team consists of the system analysts and programmers. Configuration maintenance is necessary, and system performance measures are needed. Security is a vital part of every computer system. Risk management identifies risks, analyzes, anticipates, and to reduce risks to an acceptable level. Data backup and recovery plans are necessary. All information systems are eventually become obsolete, and intense competition is predicted in the future. I go along with that. IT professionals should have strategic career plans to incur long-term goals and intermediate milestones. Okay, ladies and germs, that is the end of the last chapter. And the next time you see me in a video, it'll be talking about the final exam. So, see you guys after a while.